Tributes have already flooded in from fellow neighbours, as well as Port Vale fans who have already raised over £1,000 for their fellow fans to cover the funeral costs. The body of 57-year-old Robert Goodwin was found in the allotments you can see behind me in Leonora Road in Burslem. Just over 2 hours later, the body of teenager Nathan Bates was found at his home on Barnfield Road, at less than half a mile away. Police are treating these deaths as linked, as it is now understood that Mr. Goodwin was an ex-partner of Mr. Bates's mother. Detectives have now opened a murder investigation into Mr. Bates's death, whilst Mr. Goodwin's is currently unexplained. Officers are continuing to search the local area, including Grange Park and surrounding drainage systems. Anyone with any further information is urged to contact the force.
I mean, my son that I've still got at home with me, he's a teenager. He knows, the difference between right and wrong, and he knows how to approach people who are unruly. He knows what to do.
We're walking past and we see a big group. We tend not to come. We just kind of keep walking and don't come. And when you're going to pick up your child through the alleyway, it's not very nice to see, really. Recently, there's been a police car and one or two walking around, but what they can do, I don't know, because they're not being caught in an illegal act. They're just standing. I think they're just bored. Yeah. I know. I feel sorry for them too, because there's nothing else. Obviously they come to the park just to hang out as mates. They don't need the play equipment. They just need somewhere to hang out, somewhere to be together. Yeah, I feel sorry for them too.
Stoke-on-Trent MP Jack Brereton has spoken to Staffs Live about the need for change on dangerous Staffordshire roads.
It's very shocking to see that the number of people who have been killed, unfortunately, on the A500 and on other roads right across Stoke-on-Trent and Staffordshire, and we do need to do more to all together as partners to reduce that figure further, because this should be about saving lives. The figure as well for the number of pedestrians who've been killed. It's not just people who are in cars who are being killed. Obviously the most vulnerable road users are pedestrians, people cycling. Far too many of those people have been killed, and we've actually seen an increase.
26 fatal collisions on the A500 alone over the last decade. It's understandable why Jack Brereton is calling for change. Jack Cochran, Staffs Live.
Last year, the West Midlands Ambulance Service attended a total of 334 heart-related incidents in Staffordshire alone. In a bid to tackle this incredible demand, they are looking to increase awareness in how to correctly perform CPR, and they are starting with schools and Restart Heart Day. Staffs Live went to Purton Middle School in Wolverhampton to find out more.
The social aspect of things, you get people that are quite scared when they're out in the community. If they see something, they'd be able to do something straight away, because people are quite scared nowadays to do things. But learning at a young age would be beneficial for them. Don't be scared to approach that person, just you are there to help.
More than 25,000 students have been taught CPR this week, and events like this are key in helping to save more lives in the future. Anna Layden reporting for Staffs Live.
My name is Damien Lomas. I am a gay male. Hurt my mum by not having the confidence to tell her in person to be not only out and proud but to be an example for them gives me a lot more fulfillment than if it was a case of I was just like, I'm gay, woo.
My name's Fiona Wood, I was known as Fee, and I'm a trans female. You can think and go past that negativity and think about positives that can come ahead.
I think people would expect me to say there was a lot of debate and, oh, not sure, and a bit of dispute and different ideas, but it wasn't like that at all. It was very calm, very full of grace, very accepting and very open to the idea. And interestingly, one of the people in the church who was the biggest supporter and who helped some of the others who were maybe saying, oh, well, this is quite a new idea, was a lady called Jean, who was in her 90s. And her view was, we must do this, and we must do it now.
Antibiotics are very, very important to treat bacterial infections. So one of the things that we're concerned with is that if we use our antibiotics inappropriately, we will encourage resistance. So the bugs that we're treating, they get used to the antibiotic, and after a while, that antibiotic no longer works. And because we're not having lots of new antibiotics being formulated and produced by the pharmaceutical industry, we just want to make sure that the antibiotics that we do have actually continue to work for the patients that we're treating. So the campaign is all about making sure that people are aware of conditions which don't need antibiotics. So for example, coughs and colds often are caused by viral infections. So antibiotics don't work for viral infections, and the key message of our campaign is to educate patients and the public and the students that if you've got a cough and cold, then there are steps that you can take which will mean that you'll feel a lot better without the need of antibiotics.
Gary Rowett's Stoke welcome his former side Birmingham City to the Bet365 stadium this weekend, but the manager says he'll treat it like any other game, despite his connections to the Blues.
Whilst I have a huge respect for that club and the fans and the people that are still there working there, and of course some of the players that I will have signed, ultimately it's a home game for us and it makes no difference this weekend. Certainly won't be any extra emotion really. It's about us doing what we've done in the last sort of 3 or 4 games.
Stoke seemed to turn a corner before the international break, beating Norwich City 1-0 courtesy of this own goal from Tim Closer, and Rowett doesn't feel like the break will impact his team too much.
I don't think the momentum's necessarily a problem for me, because if you're Saturday to Saturday, by the time you get to the following Saturday, you've lost that momentum a tiny bit. I think if it's Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, and you start winning games, then you can really build that momentum with games coming thick and fast. But, so I don't think it makes a lot of difference.
Well, Tom, it's a little bit different because he's obviously had to have injections into his ankle, of which he had the previous week, and he's had one this week. So I think you're trying to give him as much time to, for it to settle down. But it's, as I say, we can't just be relying on Tom Pope.
the first time we've had a week off with no game, so we can actually prepare for one team on a Saturday, and we're going to travel up on the Friday night. So we treat it like we're a pro club. Hopefully we can play like one on Saturday and pull off a shock. In my opinion, be the best thing I've done in football. For what I've tried to stay here and get as high as we can. So for me, I personally, for what I have achieved, I think it'd be the best thing I've done.
Rookie Hatton's heavyweight prospect Nathan Gorman showing blistering hand speed ahead of his 14th professional fight in Brentford. The Nantwich boxer also scheduled to fight on December the 22nd on the undercard of Warrington vs Frampton, and could be his toughest test yet.
Oh, it's great, you know, I'm fighting on, like you said, a massive bill. Probably could be one of the biggest bills in British boxing this year. You know, potentially it could be a barnstorm between Frampton and Selby, and I'm on the undercard, and I'll be having a very good fight on that one. We're looking at, you know, top 30 in the world, top 20 in the world opponent for me on that card.
Having only had 14 amateur fights and competed in the professional ranks since the end of 2015, British boxing legend the Hitman Hatton tips Gorman all the way to becoming a world champion.
Right to the very top. Right to the very top. It's a bit of a, big statement, and there's still boxes for him to tick, which was not just the case for Nathan, that was the case for me, for Nassim Ahmed, Joe Kawasaki, Cal Frock. I think he's got a great future, and I think he'll be where Joshua is and Tyson Fury and British heavyweights like that have done us proud. I think he's the next one in the conveyor belt.
At the age of only 22, Gorman has sparred with some of the best heavyweights in the world of boxing, with the likes of Derek Chisora, unified world champion Anthony Joshua, a former undisputed world champion and cousin, Tyson Fury.
Very valuable, you know, little bits here and there I can pick up, you know, when I spar Tyson, I pick up bits of him. When I spar Derek Chisora, I pick up bits of him, you know, just throw it all into the pot and try and make your own, you know, your own style, really. So it's very valuable experience, because all them boys there, they're at the top of the game, or have been at the top of the game, so it's extremely good, really.
Gorman hopes to follow the footsteps of cousin Tyson, and that journey hopes to continue on Saturday night, on which he's counting down the days. Saki Budden for Staffs Live.
It's been a tough time for Burslem Cricket Club, as they have been relegated as a result of fielding an illegible player, costing them 71 points.
We're not happy with the league's ruling on that. We've taken independent legal advice, and we're led purely by the solicitors. Our solicitor is saying that we've got a case, a very strong case, to get those points given back to us.
Burslem have been in contact with the league and are hopeful the decision will be reversed.
We have asked the league to see some common sense, and I think we've given them a deadline, or the solicitors have given them a deadline of the 22nd of October, which is Monday, to come to an amicable conclusion on the matter.
One piece of good news, however, is the announcement of signing Tom Basin from Alsager.
Tom Basin, we played him a couple of years ago at Alsager in a cup competition. One or two of the lads were quite impressed.